Tevez da solo, Tevez al limite dell'area, fa fuori tutti, Tevez, si apre la porta, Tevez, gol, da dietro, Pirlo dentro,
Ciao Juventini, welcome back to the All Juve Cast channel. It's all Juve all the time. You know the drill. Subscribe if you're new here. Okay, we're all passionate and diehard Juventini. It's just me today, all right? So yeah, just me flying solo today, but it's all good because I have all of you already out of the gate in the live chat. We're going to get ready for Juve Spezia today. First, we're going to tackle the news as, of course, it's deadline for the Mercato. But first, let's say some hellos here. Okay, we got Bob, as always. Good morning. All great to have 3 matches this week. Yeah, let's go. Stay awake, Max. Mad Max. Stay awake. Let's see if we can build off, at least in my personal opinion, a great match, like in terms of what we saw against Sampdoria to then Roma. Much better, okay, especially the first half. So we need to build off that, and we'll get to all those details and everything. Bobby Davaros, let's hope we get those points we need so desperately to keep up. That's right, we don't want to fall back out of the gate, so got to get the 3 points today. That's basically it here. See, Mohammed Morning, love seeing Miretti having another start. That's right. He is in the projected lineup for today. We're going to talk about that. It looks like only a couple changes from Max. We will get to projected lineup. All right. So, yes, let's see. Vito. Ciao, Al. AJC Army is here. Yes, we love the AJC Army. You guys are fantastic. All right. So let's see here. Anthony saying that AJC team is with the gaffer in spirit. Yes, I know they'll be tuning in and whatnot. And hey, it's all good. Life happens. Hey, I used to do this thing solo from the get-go, so no stranger to it. I will try and do my best for all of you. But, you know, we've got a pretty great team and great personalities, and we love having them on. But today, it is what it is. Let's go without. Let's talk about the news right out of the gate. Paredes done. Okay, so 7.5 million. My immediate question to you, Juventini, with me on the live chat here: 7.5 million. Too much for Paredes? Is it too much? All right. Let's see if we can see what your answers are, how you guys feel about this and whatnot. He was apparently reported that Paredes was going to be doing his medical actually in Perez and then coming over. Should be in Turin today at some point. Okay, but done deal, 7.5 million euros. So this is Max's guy. We've been talking about this for a while now, and he is the one that Max was going for. So 7.5 salary. Here's the thing. It is what it is. It's starting money. So he's coming in. He's going to be your starting regista, and then we will see what happens. Apparently, this is all to get Locatelli to move over to a side. I believe so. I'd be shocked if Allegri did not kind of make things happen that way. So you've got a little more flexibility with Paredes there if he could come in there and be a solid regista. The interesting thing is now in this mold, if we continue on the way we did against Roma, is you have a 3-man midfield that turns into a 2-man pivot, which is actually, in my personal opinion, Locatelli's most natural, the 2-man pivot. But again, Paredes coming in, 7.5 is what it is. You've got to remember that next season, like at the end of this season, Rabiot is essentially gone. So you're freeing up all of that salary as well. And will Paredes offer as much as Rabiot has and whatnot? It is what it is. But the bottom line is this is Max's guy. So Max wanted Paredes. Juventus pushed until the bitter end, tried to make it work. Looks like Rovella is the one out of the youngsters now that is going to be moving on. Okay, so we've got Monza. So Rovella's moving over to Monza, and Fagioli is the one that's actually staying with Miretti. So all summer long, anybody's guess as to who was staying, what they were going to do with those positions and whatnot. So the 7.5 million salary, why we're bringing this up now is, you know, it is high salary for him. Animesh saying huge salary for him. Not sure if we had a choice since it's a loan and it's his salary at PSG. That's kind of the whole thing as well. But it brings up the discussion about Rovella and how Rovella was looking. And was it, in fact, truly necessary to do this? I think we're going to have to wait and see on what the actual answer is with Locatelli. If he doesn't end up slotting Locatelli, if Max doesn't end up slotting Locatelli as a Mitsala, then maybe, just maybe, it might not have been worth it. But if we're talking about a two-man pivot and if you've got a three-man midfield, and eventually when Paul Pogba comes back, Paul becomes the one that's offered the freedom to move forward, and then you have a two-man pivot of Paredes and Locatelli, that actually sounds very, very strong and balances out left and right in a very, very strong manner. So salary would go out the window if he can come in and make an immediate impact and play that role to a level that we need. So it's Locatelli's been getting a lot of criticism and mixed reviews from Juventini out there. So let's wait and see what Paredes can come in and do. So 7.5, it is what it is. That's the number. It's loan with option. The option has stipulations that would make it then obligation. Okay, so needless to say, how I felt, I've been saying this a while, but whoever your manager is, you have to back them. We always had discussions about that in terms of Sarri, in terms of Pirlo and whatnot. If this is Max's guy, this is who he wants in here, is what it is. Got to make it happen. So there you have it. Tell you the truth, salary's a bit high. So Vito's thinking salary's a bit high. Gerardo, not that high of a salary. Sell a couple Fiat here, Fiat there. Easy. Yeah, there you go. There you go. So Paredes in, Rovella out. Juve continues to work. Okay, so continuing to work on trying to move Artur. So we'll wait and see. It might be too little too late, and he might fall into the Ramsey trap and just have to sit out and not be a part of this, which is actually going to be bad for Juve because you're going to get in a position where I don't see them even showcasing him. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see. But there is no deal for Artur as of yet. So, yeah, there you kind of have it. That's it for most of the news there. One interesting thing that we should get to, and obviously everybody on the live will get your comments about the management. We got some interesting news yesterday about Memphis Depay, and basically the news broke out that it was not management that just simply turned and did a 180 and stopped with the Depay deal and whatnot. It was that Barcelona did not terminate the contract and did not offer that up. And that was kind of like there were inklings of that potentially happening in the background. Okay, so you did see that in the background a bit. You could hear that, hey, it was this deal and this deal that Barcelona also needed in order to take place for them to free up and terminate that contract for Depay. So yesterday we end up getting it from Nicolas Skira, who's just been absolutely fantastic, in my opinion, this entire Mercado, and definitely the strongest, if you had to ask me, him and Mirko. But yeah, this should restore faith in management because, again, a lot of Juventini had kind of turned on them with this 180 to go to Milik, as if they just said, we're not meeting your demands. So yesterday I found that report very, very interesting and should renew that faith in any Juventini that lost any in terms of the Depay to Milik switch. So reported yesterday by Nicolas Skira, the terms were there with Depay and Juventus. It was agreed upon. Everything was good. Simply not terminated by Barcelona. So there you have it. Anybody that was hard on Cherubini and Arriva Bene, They did what they had to do. Depay was not freed up in order for him to come here, so they switched, went to Milik. Milik is essentially no risk whatsoever. And there was already some Juventini thinking that he looked okay in that brief cameo against Roma. I would have to agree. He was moving the ball well. He was moving himself quite well. Looks eager and whatnot. Will he stay fit? We wait and see. Will he be able to contribute? We've had one call yesterday on the daily update video, and I would have saw that as well, that he's going to have 10 goals this season. So do you guys agree? Do you think Milik's going to hit double-digit goals for Juventus this year? I don't know. Let me know in the live chat. Let's see. But one way or another, again, extremely low risk, little to no risk with Milik there, and just getting an option behind Vlahovic. But there's also the rumors, and we had the rumors going into this match against Roma. Okay, so we had the rumors going into this match that Max was going to play Milik and Vlahovic. I said yesterday on the show that if he was going to do that, number one, I didn't like it because I think we should go into this match building off what we saw against Roma, which was 4-3-3 that turns into a 4-2-3-1 in possession. Miretti being that dynamic midfielder that adds to the attack, two-man base in the midfield, one of which being Locatelli. If you're going to go two-man forward, in my personal opinion, it would have had to be in a 3-5-2 setup. But again, I think out of what we've seen and how the team played and how it looked on the pitch, let's keep building off what we saw against Roma. And the reports are there for today that it is going to be 4-3-3 with two potential changes. We'll get more to that a little bit later. So we got Jeremiah coming in. You alone today, mate? Yes. Going solo, Anthony. AJC team is on strike. Oh, news to me, but all right. They're on strike. That's okay. On strike till tomorrow, post-match podcast. There we go. And where hopefully we can celebrate a victory. All right. So let's get into this. Okay. Let's get into Spezia. So Spezia, 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss coming into today. They're coming off the 2-2 draw to Sassuolo. Okay. Juventus, of course, coming off the 1-1 draw against Roma, which had mixed reviews from Juventini. Great first half. And then a lot of people thinking that we fell into some kind of trap again, and that Roma were the better team in the second half. So that alone has a lot of arguments in Juventini going back and forth, not only just Juventini, but even Roma fans. Some Roma fans saying they were clear the better side in the second half. I would have to disagree. On that too, and say that Roma had little to nothing as far as opportunities and whatnot. In the second half, I did see something that I'm going to be keeping tabs on, and that's just how exhausted our players looked, and it was almost like a switch went from the 55th minute to 60th minute. So I want to see if we can get that fitness up there, because we can't have guys getting gassed that quickly, and it was key guys as well. Locatelli pushed on for about 24 minutes beyond when you could see he was visibly tired and gassed. So we've got to do better on that front. Max could not keep like for like in terms of changes. That comes down to depth. That comes down to fitness. Positive is Di Maria and Fagioli are in the lineup, in the squad today. They're in the squad list. So if Moretti needs to change things up, Fagioli for me would be that direct switch up to him and give him that freedom to move forward and keep your base two midfielders in possession there, okay? And we should be able to control possession against Spezia today based on how they play. 3-5-2. Obviously, against certain teams, they'll play a little bit more open and push forward. They will try and strike against us. Make no mistake. They will try to push forward through counters mostly, is what I believe. But we'll wait to see. Gatti will be the other change. Okay. Gatti's supposed to play today, and he's supposed to play next to Bremer, but let's just wait and see on that back line because things could change there. Forza Juve in Indonesia. Ciao, ciao. Thank you for joining us. Reminder to all you in the live chat right now, let's get those likes up, okay? So like the video if you're new here, subscribe to the channel, all right? And everybody usually asks, how can we support the channel and whatnot? Obviously, we have Super Chat enabled, all right? Super Chat's one way to do it. Another way to do it is, of course, to check out Striped Hearts Apparel, our shop. Our store, our merch is now linked with us on YouTube. Check it out. There's new designs coming out next week as well. All right. So there you have it. Okay. Now let's carry on with these. We're going to get deep into this match, but let's get the trivia going. Okay. So obviously it's between the live here. Okay. So it's just you. We got no Omer, usually the trivia king there and whatnot. Except I did beat him last season. I only had to take him on once, and I beat him. Omer, I got you. So, oh no, we're way too early, Muhammad, for prediction time. Slow down. Okay. Claudio asking, who are players to watch from Spezia that can cause us problems, and where are their weaknesses that we can expose? We will get into that, Claudio. I will get into that, okay? First, let's have a little fun, and let's get some trivia going. Who can tell me what was the score the last time Juventus and Spezia played each other? Who can tell me what the score was? I'll give you guys a little bit of time here. I'm going to start marking some questions and whatnot in the live chat that we have that we can tackle here and discuss. Okay, Claudio's is basically marked for later and whatnot. Does anybody remember that score line from previously? I'll give you a little bit here. Oh, Claudio, all over it. 1-0. 1-0. So you had 1-0, but it was a Juventus victory the last time, okay? 1-0 Juventus victory. They're cheating. Of course they are. Hey, but if you're not cheating, you're not trying hard enough, right? That's what some say. So 1-0. Who was the goal scorer? It was a Juventus 1-0 win. Who scored the goal? You're going to get very, very short period of time here. I'll call it. Everybody just Googling. You should have, if you already Googled the final, you'll have the scoreline. Come on, let's go. It was not Vlahovic. Morata winner. So Claudio's in that match here. Let's go. But how about this one? Who's got the most goals in that fixture? Juve versus Spezia. Who's got the most goals? Come on. Not Dybala. Who's got the most goals in this fixture? Juve Spezia. I'll give you a hint. It's only 3. And it's not ADP. Usually you're safe with ADP. Goal scoring leader for Juventus. Juve and Spezia have only played 10 times, everybody. Okay? So they've only had 10 official matches. Your leader is Cristiano Ronaldo with 3 goals. Okay? So there you go. That's just it for trivia. Had a little fun there. There you go, Jeremiah. Jeremiah hitting CR7. Finally, there you go. Okay. So we got a little trivia out of the way there. Anthony, took you long enough to Google it, man. Come on. Boom. Easy. Okay. So for our friends who like to bet, okay, here we go. Friends that like to bet, the odds. Juve favored in this one, as we should be. All right. 1.29. A Juventus win will pay you 1.29. A draw will pay you 5.5. And Spezia winning would pay 9.25 to 1. Okay, so there you have it. There's your odds going into this one. We'll get to the injury list. All right, and for Spezia, basically they have Ekdal, who's suspended. And if you look, and Verdi has a thigh injury, and it looks a bit beyond a game time decision for Verdi. For Juventus, Di Maria and Fagioli back on the squad list. big boost. Okay, so that's good. Again, neither pegged to start, and they probably shouldn't. Whether they get some moments in there, we will wait and see. Bonucci, he's out, expected back for the weekend. Okay, Chiesa, we know Chiesa. We're waiting still quite some time. Pogba resume training, proper training next week. Okay, not individual or specialty training. So next week, and then Ake and Kaio Jorge out as well. Okay, so that's Juve's injury list. If we look at this team, Spezia and whatnot, so let's get to some of these here. If Juve don't smash Spezia, I'll be mighty pissed. It's about time they show us some ruthlessness. All right, all right, all right. So again, you've got to get the 3 points out of this one. So, when we look at our first 3 matches, and again, I've been pretty patient, and, there was a lot of anger felt in the Roma draw and whatnot. But the Roma match, when you play those teams, we can't be in a manner where it was last season, where we didn't get a win against some of these other teams that we're battling for the top 4 positions for. You've got to mix it up better, but they're usually not the ones that decide, like Scudetti and whatnot. So for me, it was the Sampdoria match that was a major letdown, not the Roma 1-1 draw, because we were the better side and whatnot. It was that absolutely dreadful first half of play against Sampdoria where we completely wasted it, and second half, again, no ideas and no changes, not enough changes and attempts to do anything different from Allegri. So that's where I would have to say my frustration lies, is those particular matches, because Juve should have gotten a victory and taken it to Sampdoria. If you could take the game to this Roma side, you can definitely take the game to that Sampdoria side. Today, again, I'm looking for the continuation of what we saw against Roma. We should be putting Spezia under and put them under major duress and impose our will against them. Okay, so these are the matches that make the big difference overall when you start getting later on in the season, or these ones like that Sampdoria match, this Spezia match. These are the ones that really create that separation. They're the ones you have to be getting the points in. So I am looking for Juve to continue from what we saw against Roma. I want to see that same attitude and desire and drive right out of the gate and the onset. The formation, the setup, I think it's important to carry on with that. If you see your team playing in a certain manner, one of the best we've seen in a while, carry on with that. Okay, carry on with that, move forward with that, and it allows your team to gain some chemistry if you can play in the same setup. So when I was hearing that we would potentially go 4-4-2, hybrid, didn't like that at all. So I'm glad to hear that we're going 4-3-3 and building off what we saw against Roma. That made me happy there. So George coming in here saying we need to put this game to bed early, because when we'll need subs, we'll face the same problems we faced last game. So I agree with George here that we do need to put this game to bed early, okay? And we need to come out again, like I was saying, same drive, determination against Roma, take it to them. Hopefully the execution's there and we can bang a couple early. 2 goals in the first half, I think, is a minimum that we need to aim for in this one. But I disagree with the fact that we're going to run into the same problems with the subs this game. Having Fagioli back in, if he can create some minutes and get some minutes, he would be closest to that changeup with Miretti. So last game, we didn't have that. The only way you could have done it is if you moved Locatelli over. But then again, you'd have to find somebody that could have covered in there. Rovella could have covered in there. But again, Miretti and Locatelli were pretty much gassed at the same time. So I don't actually think we're going to run into that problem because of the fact that Fagioli's in there or whatnot. We could keep like for like. But on the wing, we would probably run in the same problem, because the issue was we didn't have a changeup for Quadrado unless it was Sule. So yeah, maybe in one position, but not in the midfield, where I think Juve's main issues in terms of play come from. So if we can sort out that middle and Max can find the right mix in the middle, I've been saying this for a while. If he finds the right mix in the middle, I think it all gets much, much easier and better. So yeah, we've got that. We will see what happens today and whatnot. Lex, loving the kit today. Well, I had to wear this old school kit today because it's got Nedved on the back. Nedved's birthday yesterday, so I'm rocking this one today from 2001. Fast Web Lotto. I actually didn't mind these Lotto kits at all. Loved them. And yes, Lex getting the welcome back. Lex believes she'll be able to join me on the post match tomorrow, so we will wait and see for that. So maybe you can all join in and see Lex there tomorrow. Okay, so we will see. Let's get to Vito's got a comment here. Delict says the training was not up to par at Juve. Last game the players looked gassed. Do you think we have a fitness problem at Juve? So I've been thinking about this one. Number one, Delict talks way too much about Juventus having left there. But the players were noticeably gassed. Key guys and just over half of the guys fielded at 55 to 60 were pretty gassed. Fitness issues. Yeah, I mean, we've had questions about the insane number of muscular injuries and whatnot. Now seeing guys like pretty much fatigued and whatnot. It's earlier into the season. I mean, we've got questions about Juve's training methods and whatnot. You have players from the past too speaking about how difficult the training was at Juve. So then it seemed odd to hear that, now all of a sudden we're not up to par in terms of training with these other squads and whatnot. And Delict was struggling to make it through Bayern's training session. So it's kind of all over the map. So it's like we have a lot of muscular injuries, but our players aren't fit enough for other teams' regimens. So it's just the whole thing is really strange and not necessarily lining up. So there's a lot of questions with that. And unfortunately, we just don't have the intel to get any deeper into that and whatnot. But I am working on that. Okay. So I might have some contact with an ex-Juventus player and not too far off too. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but it's just a hint that he's not far removed from the team. And one of the questions I had is where you are now and where you were. What is the difference in terms of the day-to-day, in terms of training, in terms of recovery and whatnot? Because it's the first thing that came to my head is I want to know what's going on where he is now and what it was like when it was at Juventus. So hopefully I don't have the intel now, but hopefully I get that intel for all of us very, very soon. And we can make something happen there on YouTube with it. So I'm working on it. Okay. Working on it. We got a guess already. Marquisio. It's Marquisio. We got Berna from Troy there. Lex and Dybala. Yeah, I'm working on it. If it's Bernadeschi, his opinion doesn't count. Hey, Claudio, take it easy. Berna on the pod will be mad. Yeah, it would be amazing. Amazing. Come on. Be amazing. Okay, joke's over. Spezia. Let's talk Spezia. All right. So Spezia plays a totally different game. We were talking about this earlier against certain teams where they feel more comfortable to open up and really unleash. And when they play those matches, they did against Sassuolo. No disrespect to Sassuolo, but they played very open against them. They send numbers forward. They play in a 3-5-2. And we're going to see a lot of, and you are seeing a lot of these sides play a 3-5-2 because it gives you a good balance of defense and offense. It's easy to quickly turn from defense to attack in a 3-5-2. So you're going to see a lot of these sides these smaller sides play in that manner. It just makes the transition from defense to offense rather seamlessly and allows them to play a good overall game. And you can keep a 3-5-2 even if you want to park it. We might see them park it quite a bit more and try and hit Juventus on counters today, okay? That's what I expect. They have a lot of breakdowns at the back, okay? Sometimes they drop too far back, and there would be opportunities for Juventus in trailing runs, okay? So trailing runs, top of the area, that's where we can do some damage if we hit that quick enough and are able to get those shots on. And we started to see Juve utilize the trailing runs against Roma yesterday. It should, in theory, come a little bit easier against Spezia if they drop as deep as they normally do, which is almost sometimes halfway into their area with a full line. And if we send enough forward, okay, and commit to it, we should have trailing runs open up there for us. And that could be a way to punish them. We have to have our shooting boots on, Locatelli, maybe get a little magic, and this time it counts like it didn't, unfortunately, against Roma. But the other way is quick ball movement and over the top. Sometimes they can get caught at the back because they play that 3-5-2. When they do come at us, because there will be opportunities for them to come at us, you have to be quick and you have to get that ball over the top. You're not going to do it through feet, because when they are pressing, they try to sustain. And if they do that with us and that line gets caught, because they have been caught with that line before, balls over the top and us running onto it. A little bit more difficult for Juve in our setup since we have only Vlahovic up the top, but it doesn't mean that it's out of the question completely. Okay, so look for that as well, at least to gain field. In terms of their players, there was a question earlier about who to keep eyes out for in terms of Spezia and whatnot. What are their strengths? What are weaknesses and everything? So for Spezia, again, their strength is when they have matches, they're able to send everybody forward. They put everyone in the mixer and they like to get those balls into the area. They will cross early. They will cross often. That's what they want to do. They just want to put you under with numbers and hope that mistakes happen. In terms of strengths, they do have Bastoni, who's actually a very, very good player. Okay, and he plays out of their midfield in their normal setup and whatnot, and he is labeled as a defender. But last game he played in the midfield, and he was one of the midfield three. Got himself a goal against Sassuolo, smashing it. He would be one I would say you'd have to keep a lookout for. Okay, absolutely keep an eyes out on him. Juve will have to be aware, but again, I think Ghiazzi, we know Ghiazzi. Okay, Verdi's not supposed to be in the lineup. Okay, so we shouldn't have to fear him. He's not going to be in there. If he does, maybe a cameo. Again, I think he's further on than just game time decision, so I wouldn't expect Verdi out there. But Ghiazzi, Bastoni will be guys to keep an eye on. Nzola up top, I think we're going to actually not have issues with him. I would expect Bremer in the lineup today, and I would expect Bremer to handle him. Their other forward up top, most likely going to be Strelic. And again, they're not too concerning. For us, it's just keeping track of the guys that are going to be making those moves outside from the middle. But Ghiazzi's slated to potentially play outside on that wing. So again, I think if Juventus keeps Spezia to the outside like we kept Roma to the outside, we will be okay. And to be honest, Spezia naturally likes to attack down the wings, and then, like I said before, cross early and cross often. If we could slow them down like we did against Roma, keep them to the outside, we will be okay. All right. Don't let them work anything through the middle. Keep them to the outsides like we did against Roma. I expect us to keep the outsides back as we did against Roma. You're not going to see heavy involvement from the fullbacks, which again will have that two pivot, which means Miretti's going to be slotting forward, and then it's up to Miretti, Keane, Vlahovic. Quadrado will be on the other side. You'll get a little bit help every so often from the fullbacks, but I don't expect us to go gung-ho with the fullbacks because we'll probably use that to just slow Spezia right down so that they can't get fast breaks and fully attack us from the flanks. If we slow them down, if we keep them to the outsides and slow them down, we're going to make life tough for them because they're going to be basically limited to only crosses where Juventus should be fully set up. So we should be okay in that sense. We should also be able to control the possession battle because I expect Spezia to sit back in this one, not for its entirety, but definitely from the start. So Juve's got to have the same intensity they did against Roma and put them under. I don't want to see us come out flat and play down because a team is either going to park it from the start or whatnot. I don't want us to get slowed right down and just fall to their level. Keep the pace up, keep the tempo up, put them under. Okay, they have to do that. So CJ coming in here. We've fallen victim to letdown and trap games the past couple seasons. This is a game we need to win convincingly. Inter and Roma both blew the doors off their weaker opponents yesterday. Absolutely. And just keep it in line. I agree 100% with CJ there. Keep it in line. You just can't fall victim to that. And I want to see what we had against Roma start to become the norm, start to become the standard. And that's what we need to do. We need to set that standard with this team and keep it at that level. This is the perfect match to establish that for Max and this team and the players. Keep that level against that we did against Roma. Anthony, exactly. Can't play down to their level. So, yeah, there we go. Let them cross as much as they want. Bremer and Gatti will eat their crosses up. There you go. Again, if we slow them down, keep them to the outsides, and they just are limited to that when we're set, I'm okay. I'm okay with that, okay? But, yeah, that's what to expect, I think, out of this one when I watch how Spezia plays, what their formation, what their setup's going to be. That's what I would expect from Juventus. Again, we talked about it for them. They just gotta not fall into the trap. Okay. They just cannot. Let's get to this one. The lineup for today should be a 3-5-2. Perin, Gatti, Bremer, Danilo, Kostic, Quadrado, Miretti, Rabiot, Locatelli, Milik, and Vlahovic. I said if you're gonna play Milik and Vlahovic together, it should be a 3-5-2. In terms of today, I think Kostic maybe sitting out would be okay. Give a little bit of a break there and whatnot. Gatti, Bremer, Danilo as a 3. Who do you have on the opposite outside? Kostic and Quadrado as your outsides. Yeah, Quadrado. I want to talk about Quadrado. We went studs up on I went studs up on Quadrado. I need to see much more out of Quadrado. Usually he's been money in the clutch moments. We were talking about this in the AJC team chat as well and whatnot. Usually he's been able to come up with those clutch moments and whatnot. He had opportunities in the past couple matches to get going with that. And I need way more out of him, especially if you're going to be wearing the armband and whatnot. Some of the decision-making, stalling offensive attacks, and then getting there and stop firing this ball. If I see him shoot one, it like straight on at a keeper again, I'm going to lose it. Get back to the basics. Okay, get back to the basics. Go back post if you're going to do it, okay? Try to go across goal. Try and get rebounds at least for your players that are running on. They're doing the right thing. They're trusting you to at least do the right thing. There was a couple opportunities for some trailing runs last game that he didn't hit. I need him to get ready up here and be ready up here because some of the decisions from Quad, they're just not cutting it. So I need way better from Juan Quadrado, especially if you're going to wear that armband. So, yeah, he's been good at clutch moments historically for Juventus. He's got a lot to his name in terms of clutch moments. Man, it's time to start picking it up, and we need to be able to expect that out of you. So Quadrado's got to pick it up. All right, so we'll see if he can get it together here. Projected lineup. So we had some discussions there about some of you wanting to see a 3-5-2 and whatnot. Okay, let's let's get into what the projected is. That's basically going to be Szczesny in goal, Danilo, Gatti, Bremer, DeScilio, backline, Miretti, Locatelli, Rabiot across the middle, Quadrado, Vlahovic, Keane. Okay. 4-3-3. In possession, 4-2-3-1 with Miretti bombing forward. Only two changes in this lineup from what we saw against Roma. Obviously, Gatti slated to get the start. I hope he does. Spezia would be the team, no disrespect to them, to get Gatti his start. Okay. And Moise Keane. Moise Keane. It'll be interesting to see him take up that position. We'll see if a guy like Moretti, a dynamic midfielder like Moretti, can help Keane out and get comfortable, whatnot, because for the most part, Moise Keane has not impressed. Last season was pretty rough from Moise Keane. He showed up into camp this season very, very fit, extremely fit, and looking very, very strong and whatnot. But the game, in terms of the games and getting himself involved and whatnot, it has been lacking. So we will see if in this shape and with Miretti being there, if it can help Keane get a little more involved and whatnot. So it'll be interesting because normally last game against Roma, it was Kostic that was in that position. Kostic plays the game very, very wide from the byline and whatnot. If Keane plays in that manner, is it going to be to his strengths? I'm not necessarily sure. But again, if Moretti gets involved, maybe Keane could be the one that's looking for those through balls, which Moretti is very, very good at, by the way. So Kostic, it's tough to make that call early on because we have barely scratched the surface on Kostic as a player to see what he can fully bring and what he's going to be doing. So it's a tough call to make. But eyes will be on Keane to see if he can get involved and have some type of influence and impact with this offense going into this one, okay? In terms of everything else with the lineup, I have no issues. Have to build off what we saw against Roma, and we will have to come out strong and get this thing going. So there you go. We have to control this game. Keane is only clutch during trainings. His issue is more of a mental one. I will say this. In Los Angeles, when I was there and we went to the training session at Loyola University there, he was not good in the training session at all. So they shortened up the field. Okay, so the field was shorter. The field was not as wide. And they get into this scrimmage type game, and his touch was poor. So I can't even say that even in the training sessions that he's strong or whatnot. He might be in a lot of those winning team photos from the training sessions, but I need to see way more. And a short field doesn't play to his strength. The touch is not one of his strengths. So I think Keane is that guy for me that he's like, it's funny. He looked good on the wing with PSG. I think if he's got the opportunities to take guys on 1v1, if we can get him into those spots, it's going to be harder against Spezia, who plays a 3-5-2 and might have the full five at the back lined up. It'll be harder to get him in those situations today. But that's what I was saying. If Moretti can get involved and ask for a little more attention, there could be opportunities for Keane to run on to some through balls. And then we could maybe see a Keane that's a little more dangerous, because in build-up, in tight sequences where you need that technical ability and close dribbling and whatnot, that's not really Keane's strength. Keane's strength would be going at guys 1v1, and he's very opportunistic and good at getting in the right positions offensively. But if we play a slow, stagnant build-up game, it's not playing the Keane's favor. So eyes will be on him. We'll see what can happen today. In terms of predictions, I want to see your predictions. Now, we'll have a little fun because obviously I'm going solo here today, but the prediction challenge is final score and then two other categories. They could be anything. They could be total shots, shots on target, offsides, first card, what team, what minute. So you can pick out of any of them, but final score has to be one of them. So if I'm looking at this right now, and I'm going to probably kick things off. I'm going to get my notes out here. I'm going to get my notes out here so I can keep track. Okay. Keep track. And I'll probably take a couple out of here out of the live chat. See who wants to join in and see if they can win the prediction challenge. I'm going to say Juve wins this one 2-0. I'm going to say 2-0. I want to say 3-0, but I'm going to go with 2-0. Okay. I really want to go 3-0, but 2-0. Goal scorers. I'm going to say Vlahovic. Don't think he gets the brace. Vlahovic will get one. Yeah, 2-0. Vlahovic. That other, who's going to get that other? Quadrado's been getting opportunities, been able to put teams under, but I have a feeling Spezia's been going to be a little closed off. Maybe we get another midfielder goal. Moretti, can Moretti get an opportunity to find one? Will Moretti get one today? Keane going to be opportunistic and get one? Maybe. Locatelli? Vlahovic, Locatelli. I called potentially a Locatelli goal last one, got canceled. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what you guys got here. 4-0. First card Danilo. And a Vlahovic tripleta. Wow. I like that. Anthony's going 2-0 win. First yellow against Spezia in the 35th minute. 3 offsides. 4-1. 8 shots on target and 6 corners for us. Okay. 4-0 Juve. 2 from Vlahovic. 1 from Milik and 1 from Locatelli. 2-1. First yellow Locatelli. Goal scores Vlahovic, Moretti. Okay. Wow. Okay. I'm going 2-0 Vlahovic with 1. I'm going to just go with a midfielder getting one. I went Loca last game. Should have had one. I'm going to go Moretti this one. 2-0. Vlahovic and Moretti. I think I'm going to go with possession and say that Juve ends up with about 56% possession in this one. 56% possession. And offsides, I'm going with not many. 3 or 4. I'll go 4. 4 offsides for Juve. Okay, so there's my predictions. 2-0 Vlahovic and Moretti, 56% possession, and 4 offsides. So there you go. Aldo go Moretti first goal. Yeah, I hope so. I'm going to try and manifest it in my predictions there as well. So there we go. Gerard is going to say Vlahovic hat trick. I think the issue that needs to be addressed is lack of crosses to DV9. So Kostic was taking a lot of heat after the Roma match for the crossing quality and whatnot. And again, like I kind of alluded to earlier in this live, it's a tough one with Kostic because we barely scratched the surface. So I don't want to get too hard on him too soon and whatnot. But to be honest, here's the thing with Kostic is we have to wait and see. I don't think he's fully comfortable just yet. Again, we saw Juventus that as a team needs to build off what we saw against Roma because it's been 3 matches so far and it's been 3 different setups and whatnot. We were not the same against Sassuolo as we were against Sampdoria. We were not the same against Roma as we were Sampdoria. So constantly having these changes. And he's just come to the team. There's a lot going on. Keep it the same. Max looks like he's going to keep it the same with what we had against Roma. Perfect. Let the guys gain chemistry now and put it together. Kostic, I almost feel like he was trying to keep it too simple, if that makes sense. Because there were opportunities for Kostic where I thought he could have faked a cross and maybe taken his player on 1v1 because he did have space out there sometimes, but he was too quick to just want to cross that, and the players just kind of got set up and blocked a lot of his crosses. A lot of his crosses were just turned away. I know he's got the ability to take these guys on in certain circumstances, and he should be looking to do that. In the match prior to Roma, he did. He did take his man on a couple of times. So I think it's just part of getting comfortable and whatnot. So we'll see. We will see what happens. So let's see what Dan. Been on the road for 10 hours. Here for some entertainment. There you go, Dan. 10 hours on the road. Wow. Wow. It's a little sleepy before daylight earlier. Holy, 10 hours on the road. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I used to drive a ton, and I never had issues traveling and then coming back home same day, like heading down. That would put you on the road like 9 hours, whatnot. Now, not a chance. I make a 4-hour drive. I'm staying on the other end. Getting old. I'm getting old, guys. Getting old. Okay. So, in terms of predictions, we've got predictions in. We've got everything going on. I want to remind everybody we are going to put out the Discord channel link, okay, because the one in this video I guess timed out. I gotta change that. I'm sorry, you guys. Okay, there's a lot going on. Okay, so we're gonna put the Discord link out on Twitter. Okay, so check the Twitter feed today. We're gonna put that out there so that you guys can come and join if you haven't already. It's great stuff, and a big thank you to Anish. He was here earlier in the live. Don't know if he's still here, but he's doing a great job dialing in our Discord. We thank him for that. Okay, love the contributions. If any of you, because I've had a lot that have been reaching out lately, want to try and get on the show or whatnot, we can make those arrangements through either Discord, DM us on Twitter and whatnot. Hey, we love having guests and whatnot. All we ask is that you have the proper recording setup, and then we will go from there, okay? And yeah, so reach out. In terms of the apparel, the merchandise, we've had Juventini reaching out, saying what they wanted to see on designs and whatnot. Hey, if you have ideas for that too that you want to see, fire it at us. We do everything here based off what all of you want, because this channel, that's the beauty of it. Someone said it right out of the gate, the AJC army is with me even though I'm solo here. I love that. Okay, we're all about the AJC army, and we built an incredible community, and again, we just try to bring you everything you ask for in terms of even guests, anything. We try to bring it to you. Okay, so yeah, you have ideas, fire them at us, okay? So, and that's right, Vito. That's right. AJC Army, let's go. Now, Storm the Barn. We've got one already in here from Jeremiah. Is it a coincidence that players that left Max 2.0 are fitting in really well elsewhere? Are we being led by a sheep in wolf's clothing? So, okay, so here's the thing. We've seen it head the other direction too. We've seen it where players have come to us where we maybe didn't have the expectations and they've kind of taken off. I think there's a lot to be said about environments, teammates and players and whatnot, that where they are, it can make a difference. In terms of if we're talking Kulishevsky and whatnot, I think the league itself over there presented an opportunity that kind of plays to his game. I think in Italy, and regardless of what people want to say about his showings, Kulishevsky's showings before he came to Juventus and whatnot, it's still nothing like what we're seeing or getting out of the Premier League. And it's just, with us, it just wasn't working. And it did come down to the type of game we wanted to play and what we were asking him to do positionally. So I don't think we were necessarily putting him into an area to succeed and maximize what he can do. But also, I think the league is just, that seems a little more catered to his style. He gets a lot of space. He wasn't getting that kind of space in Italy. And that's why I think you were getting contributions few and far between out of Kulishevsky and whatnot. And ultimately, when he was at Juventus, he had to battle. He had to battle to get those minutes. And could anybody say he was worthy of them when he was with us? A lot of us were fine when he wasn't starting. So is what it is. As far as some other guys, I don't know, Jeremiah. I'd probably say hit me with the examples because I don't see too many that are leaving. And I guess a problem with that is that a lot of the guys we've been moving on are just have been old, right? So, and some dead weight to us and whatnot. So, if we're talking Bernardeschi or whatnot, I mean, MLS, like Europe, playing in Europe and playing to MLS is night and day. I actually expected him to look good in the MLS. So that's just a league thing. Massive drop off in quality. So Dybala, if we're talking about Dybala was a good player for us too. Just couldn't stay fit. So I don't necessarily say that it's just they're thriving elsewhere, not thriving for us. I think for Juve, we have to get back to the basics, keep it simple. Team. We have to look at the team. We have to look at the group, not the individuals. I think honing in exactly on what gets the most out of the group and the majority of our players. If we have one or two that are out here that might not be able to get in there and get into it, that's still better than having an entire team that plays flat and stagnant and has no identity and whatnot. If you're struggling to just get one or two guys in and then find a role, that's a better problem to have than a team that doesn't have an identity whatsoever and doesn't know how they want to move forward, if that makes sense, right? So again, I'm happy to see Max building off what we had against Roma. So we will see. Storm the Barn from that. Do you think the game has passed Max by? So this question comes up a lot, and I see this a lot in terms of just some of these managers that have had past success and where they find themselves in certain positions. I mean, Roma, there were Roma fans and there were people saying the same thing about Mourinho, and that's just passed by. I don't know if necessarily the game has passed Max by. I think with Max, I don't think I'm ready to make that call just yet. I think, again, I was saying, and I have been saying, one of my big things is this team won't evolve and this team won't change. This group of players won't excel until Max changes. And what I always meant with that is him not being so safe in his lineup, so safe in how he approaches games and whatnot. So in terms of that, I don't necessarily think the game has passed Max by. I think it's the same old Max, really, but he just doesn't have that established system yet in place with his team and everything like that. So I think in terms of how he sees the games, how he looks at seasons, how he breaks them down into periods and whatnot, I think it's the same Max we've always had. It's just he had established teams before. And then it started to fade right before his first tenure with Juve ended because he was asking for a big change in players, and they went a completely different route. So obviously, it's anybody's guess what kind of happened there. If maybe they thought that the roster we had wasn't in need of that drastic a change, and Max is asking for all this, and they thought, hell, it's a lot easier to just switch a manager. It's anybody's guess, right? But he was going through a flux there where he needed big changes. And it could have also been some Ronaldo influence in there too. That, hey, we brought Ronaldo in, now all of a sudden whole shift changes to an entire team. Let's bring a more attack-minded coach and try and move forward, even though Ronaldo had a good season, even statistically with Allegri. I don't think the game's passed Max by. I think it's the same old Max, to be honest. And I think with this particular team, even if you go to Pirlo, even if you go to Sarri, they struggled with the mental aspect of things. They lacked mental toughness despite having certain guys, but also the team play. Like even during Pirlo season, we were good and we were in the mix until just over halfway through, and then all of a sudden it just completely faltered. There have been rumors also lately circulating about Cristiano Ronaldo and locker room and all this, etc. I think it's just there's a lot of things going on right now. We have a lot of new faces at Juve, and that might have been the easiest way to pull together a new identity and everything, because if you have some guys or a decent amount that are connected to that old one, it may kind of halt things, if it makes sense, because you're trying to imitate rather than create a new wave. So I think it actually might be easier now to do so with so many new faces. So I don't think the game has passed Max by necessarily. I think it's same old Max. It's just we are still trying to develop and create a new identity and a new wave, a new era of Juve moving forward. It's just very, very difficult to do so. And patience is a hard thing for Juventini to have when we have won 9 straight Scudetti and then all of a sudden start to tail off, right? But again, I can't help but reiterate, we have not dropped off to the level that the other rival teams did when they were going through transitions. And that's a massive, massive positive from Juve, is we have remained in that discussion and stay remaining in the top 4. And it is crucial, and it will be crucial to Juve now to stay in that top 4, which I fully expect this season and whatnot, because we need that Champions League money. Speaking of Champions League, that group that we have is extremely tricky, but those funds, it is crucial that Juve finds themselves in the knockout stages, because as much as the cleanup's going to get helped with expiring contracts and whatnot, they still need those funds. We are still potentially not just in the home clear next summer mercado, but might even be another one after that. It might. We'll have to see how they move and operate and how certain moves hit in this current season as well. But I don't think the game has necessarily passed Max by. I think we're going through a hell of a period where we're trying to reinvent ourselves and figure out the new way of Juve. And even as a fan, it's so easy. It's like, I want this Juve, you look at this Juve of old, like this is how we need to be. You can't necessarily replicate that. And we have to look back at the characters we had. You had Buffon forever, 1 in a million. Chiellini, again, they don't make them like that anymore. It's very, very hard. I want these guys that are coming in now, the Locatellis, Mirettis, Gatti, Bremer. I want them to create the next wave, the next era, find themselves, find a style and system that suits them and build that identity from there. But the way we approach games, like we did against Roma, should always remain. I never want to see effort. The effort always has to be there. Okay. So, but great question. And I'm curious to see if, what you guys think about has the game passed Max by. I think it's the same old Max, to be honest. Dan saying he was completely behind him. Till Milik, it's not 2017. Well, we talked about that earlier too, and it looked like Depay was it, and they had terms with Depay. Barca did not terminate, right? So that's even a tough one to really hold to them a lot, right? Gerardo saying, Conte succeeds wherever he goes. Would Allegri do the same with a struggling Chelsea? Ooh, so this is where it gets interesting, because again, I think you have completely different managers. Like even Conte too. The interesting thing with Conte that we can't tie to is any type of sustained success, because he's in and out. He's in and out. He cares nothing about the club he's at. He's literally about himself. So you can't even tie sustained success to Conte. So Conte's immediate stimulus to a team and ability to change that and create this culture is, without a doubt, probably the best out there. Okay. Nobody can argue that. And we've seen it time and time and time again. But I tell you what, Europe, when it comes to Europe, there's nothing there. And when it comes to sustained success, I don't really know. So in terms of saying this with Allegri, would Allegri do the same? Maybe over time, because Max doesn't have that, you know, instant stimulus, whatnot. We haven't seen that instant stimulus even like through his tenure, but he's had some established sides and he does a great job at managing and taking it down a certain track and certain roads. Like he looks at seasons, he doesn't look at it, he breaks it down into sections. Okay. And he's just got an interesting way about it. But yeah, it's yin and yang here from Conte to Allegri. Would Allegri do the same? Not necessarily in terms of instant stimulus, but I think he would help teams out for sure, for sure. And again, a lot of it comes down to players and the quality and whatnot, because we were saying that also with Pirlo and Sarri, very, very limited to do what they wanted to do with certain guys that we had in the lineup. So that's all the way it is. Aldo saying, I think it's the same Max, but he does need to be more courageous. Before we could be pragmatic and rely on moments of genius because of the players we had. We don't have that luxury anymore. And I agree, Aldo. I agree in your assessment. He does need to be more courageous. And I believe that's why I gave him credit, because he went with Moretti. He went with Moretti last game against Roma. He's going Moretti again. He needed to get the balance in the middle of the park, and he needed to stay away from his safety nets, which are these midfielders that have the more experience, that play a certain way. Hey, get away from it. Find the right mix in the middle. And he went to it. I think in terms of being more courageous, sometimes we associate that with the play that's actually on the pitch and whatnot. And sometimes that comes down to just getting the right players out there. Maybe Max doesn't do a whole bunch or tell them to play in a certain manner. Maybe it's just those guys taking the initiative and playing the game the way they believed. And I said this about the youngsters, Rovella, Miretti, Fagioli even. These guys, they don't want to slow things down. And if you look at when they get the balls and whatnot in the pitch, they're basically instantly looking ahead and wanting to drive forward and whatnot. So I think a lot of it comes down to the guys. But Max, he's starting off by starting those guys. So has to be credited that we've got Moretti in there, and hopefully we can build on that and move forward. So there you go. But yeah, Max, everybody's going to have mixed feelings about Max. Max is in a pressure cooker. Okay. The leash is short, I feel, with him this season, and he's got to get it right. I think, and there's early signs that this is going to be an interesting Serie A season. And I think you're going to see nobody run away with it by any means. I think you're going to see Milan, Inter, Roma, and Juve in a bit of a juggling in this season. I really think we will. Okay, so it's going to be very, very interesting. But there you go, everybody. Again, we're going to wrap things up here. We've got the game here. There was a question earlier on about the watch along. Okay, so the watch along, there will not be a watch along today, unfortunately. I apologize. It's just the midweek ones are killers. Okay, so it's not going to happen. This is a big stretch that kicks off today for Juventus. Okay, so we have 6 games in 19 days. Okay, so we got 6 in 19. It starts today, Spezia. Then we've got Fiorentina on the weekend. Then you got Salernitana, Monza, Bologna, and then Milan. Okay, so Fiorentina on the weekend is going to be a tricky one. They've been playing us tough. And we always kind of have tough time there and whatnot. So that's going to be an interesting one. Bonucci back into the fold. Di Maria and Fagioli on the squad list today. So Di Maria could be the big
boost for the Fiorentina one. Outside of that, then you look Salernitana, Monza, Bologna, 9 points. Okay. 3, 6, 9, 3 wins. Have to take advantage of Salernitana, Monza, and Bologna if you're Juventus. And we're going to find out real quick what that race at the top is going to look like in this stretch, because this is a tough stretch for Juve. Fitness is going to come into play. Hopefully we get no injuries and whatnot, but it kicks off today, and it has to kick off with 3 points. We're all predicting wins and predicting strong showings from Juve. Has to be that way. One last reminder to like the video. And of course, if you're new here, subscribe to the channel. Check out Twitter. get over to the Discord channel. We are also going to have back to our tweets of the match. Just hashtag AJC TOTM for tweet of the match. Okay. And we're going to put some of the best ones out from the match day from Twitter on our post-match podcast tomorrow. Okay. And then tomorrow, all right, we're going to give kits away. Okay. We're going to have fun. Trivia challenge, all that tomorrow live, 8:30 a.m. Eastern. Get here. It's going to announce the names today, but we're running short on time. Okay, so names be announced tomorrow. Okay, I'm sorry to keep everybody waiting. Tomorrow, I promise you. Okay, I promise you. Everybody enjoy the match day. Okay, and then let's meet back here tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, and let's hopefully recap a victory from Juve and then talk about some performances, and hopefully they're all great. Thank you all for joining me. Okay. Forza Juve, fino alla fine. Go out and get that win today. Okay. Ciao tutti. Enjoy the match.